Hey everybody, Brian Zane here. I'm joined by J Biggs, and you know what? It's time to get a little extreme.
Oh,
Biggs.
yeah.
Just get really, down and dirty. Extreme! Extreme rules with exactly one match with any kind of extreme theme stipulation.
It's extremely crappy, too.
There's a lot to be said about this card, right. And we'll get into some of the stuff later on as we get further up the card. Let's talk about the one of the matches that was just announced this past week on Smackdown. Aleister Black versus the man who knocks, Cesaro. It was revealed on Tuesday. Cesaro was the man who did the ding-dong ditch earlier, and now we're going to have a match between these two. I'm really excited about this one. On paper, this is an amazing matchup.
I think everybody's more excited for Aleister Black versus Claudio Castagnoli than they are the Cesaro character, and this is because we know how he wrestled on the indies. I mean, it was a strong style, and they haven't really let him break out, in my opinion, in WWE.
I mean, although compared to the rest of the field, I think Cesaro, even if he's watered down or whatever from how he was in the indies, I think he's still heads and shoulders above a lot of other people.
Right.
And I think these two are going to have good clash of styles in the ring. I think we know what Aleister Black's capable of doing. We saw what he did in NXT. We got a glimpse of that when he was teaming with Ricochet a few months ago.
Right.
And so now we're getting Aleister's first real test on the main roster. I think that Aleister is going to win this matchup strictly because he is kind of like they've been spending all these weeks building him up, doing the promos and everything. Cesaro's going to look good in defeat, but I don't think he's winning this one. What about you?
I absolutely agree with you 100% on how it's going to go down, and yeah, they got to make Aleister look good after all these promos, and everything would be stupid to just, to put over Cesaro out of nowhere.
Another match that could be a sleeper hit for match of the night, knowing these two teams, the Revival versus the Usos for the Raw Tag titles. These guys have had a surprisingly long and storied rivalry. Like, who could forget, a couple months ago when the Usos showed, Wilder shaving Dawson's back. all these other embarrassing things they had him do for a while. And they just kind of did a full stop on that for a while. They gave the Revival the belt. They're loosely affiliated with Shane McMahon, although that's not really been played up upon, I don't think. And here they are fighting the Usos once again. And like I said, these two teams are so great in their own ways, and we know they can put on great matches. So I'm not concerned about the match quality here. I'm just kind of on the fence as who's going to win, because I feel like the Revival, they just won the belts. But, we've seen hot potatoing done before. But I think at this point, especially with the Usos and later on with the New Day, and I'll talk about that as well, I think that once they've won the belts so often, to revert back to them as champions seems a little redundant, seems a little excessive. Who do you got going for this? Who's your pick?
I guess it depends on if the Revival got their release or not, and they're going to AEW. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Usos just because they, for whatever reason, just seem like the team, in my opinion, to pick right now. I think I'm on the fence just like you. I think it could go either way, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, quality of the match, it's going to be great. They're both good teams.
Yeah, and so I'm definitely kind of like, you could flip a coin. It could justify the Usos winning the belts, but I am going to say the Revival will retain. I don't know if it's going to be a complete clean finish. I don't know, it might be a DQ or something, but no matter what happens, I do think the Revival will walk away as the champion still. Braun Strowman. Will he be the Braun Strowman standing at the end of the Last Man Standing match? Jesus, that was a bad segue, but that's the match we have here against Bobby Lashley here after they destroyed the set 2 weeks ago, and then I think it's so funny. They destroyed the set and they made this big deal of it, and all week everyone was speculating, oh, that means it's gonna be a new set. It's gonna be Rhino, Jericho, and the Gore, and we're gonna get the Smackdown fist back. No, nothing changed with the set. They didn't even put. I wish they put some caution tape up.
That would have been funny, actually. That would have been great, because then it would have been like a reminder, like, hello, you're reminding us of something that happened last week. We're not just moving on.
Bobby Lashley's in a weird space where ever since he lost the Rush, I don't think they know what to do with him, because at the end of the day, he's still Bobby Lashley. He's still a fantastic athlete. He does great stuff in the ring for his size and his abilities. But man, he's got the charisma of a wet piece of toast.
Well, dude, you know what? I think they just need to make a monster of him. And like I told you, when we were talking last week, there was something that you didn't even notice at WrestleMania they did with him. They gave him the red eyes, the bright red eyes, and kind of gave him a monster look. And then it was just gone the next day. I don't know if that was why he had to have it because he was facing a demon or something.
Well, it was probably an infection or something.
Oh, an infection. Oh, like Hogan got in his eye before WrestleMania 9.
Right.
Anyway, no, but seriously, I think that Bobby Lashley could have been, I don't care how wet piece of toast he is. He's big enough and looks intimidating enough. He's a former Marine. I don't care. Just make the guy smile. And he could have faced Lesnar. He even has the accolades of a real MMA fighter. So, like, to me, it just, they're not doing enough with him. They're really not doing a lot with Strowman either. So, at this point, just two monsters. This is a Vince match, without doubt.
This is like Vince's wet dream right here.
For right now.
There's a lot of beef in this ring, pal. I pick Strowman to win this one because I think he needs a nice big win. He's been kind of, like you said, he's been kind of floating around for a while, kind of in the ether. It's like he's really cooled off in the last year. From like this time last year to today, man, he is just a completely other world in terms of where he is in the card. But yeah, my pick is Strowman's going to win. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Strowman too for this one.
Tony Nese looks to reclaim the purple belt against the man who won it at Stomping Grounds, Diggity Drew Gulak. Biggs, this is another situation where you have to mention we don't watch 205 Live, not totally up to speed on the storylines, but one thing you can never count out with the Cruiserweights, whether they're on 205 Live or on the pay-per-views, you cannot discount the quality of the match. We know this is going to be another good one.
Right. No, it definitely is between these two. It's much like the Revival Usos that we were talking about earlier. You know, we know the quality is going to be there because the premier athlete and, of course, Drew Goo, you know, they're all good.
Drew Goo!
Yeah, that's my name for him. You make cool names. That's mine.
Okay.
So, I don't know. But they put the belt on him. Why take it off so quick unless he was just some sort of a transitional champion while they were doing some testing on Nese to see if he's real? And then... I don't know, but Drew Goo, I'm going to go with him keeping the belt.
I think, it's funny you mentioned, they wouldn't, change the belts so often. Yeah, I feel like ever since, Enzo left the company, was fired from the company, when they put the belt on Cedric last year at WrestleMania, it's begun this long trend of, long-standing Cruiserweight champions. We saw it with Cedric. We saw it with Buddy Murphy. And I think also, if Enzo, wasn't stopped occasionally, and we also saw with Neville as well when he was around.
Right.
And if it weren't for the minor hiccups of Kalisto or Akira Tozawa, occasionally having these belts for a very small time, the Cruiserweight title usually stays on somebody for a very long time. Right. I was kind of surprised Tony Nese held it for as little as he did. He won at WrestleMania, lost at Stomping Grounds. It's the shortest long-term reign for a Cruiserweight title that there's been in this new post-Enzo era. But I do think Drew is going to retain as well. I think it's going to be a great match. But Drew Goo, as you say, maybe I'll adopt that one too. I think Drew Goo is going to retain. The real AJ Styles is back. For real this time, only now he's got his club friends with him as he challenges Ricochet for the U.S. Championship.
I just want to say, how long did that slap from Vince McMahon take to kick in?
It was a very, very delayed release before we finally got to see, the real AJ Styles as...
God, it was like January.
As I think... No, it was December.
Was it?
November or December when that happened. So, anyway. Super delayed release. This one, to me, is tough to pick because Ricochet did win the last match against AJ Styles. AJ won the first one. AJ and the club at the beatdown on the go-home week. So I think it's kind of tough to predict. As much as I think AJ should win this one and get some heat back after the fact that the club was single-handedly defeated by Ricochet last week, I do think Rico will retain once again. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to see Ricochet somehow retain, and it's going to... I'm not really sure how to say it other than it's going to make him look... sneaky as a face, he's going to be able to...
a plucky victory.
Yes, exactly. There we go.
Okay.
I was trying to figure it out and without making him look like a heel.
Right.
But basically, yeah, I think he's going to steal the win somehow, basically, and they're going to move AJ into that picture with Seth Rollins after this Baron Corbin feud is over. Hopefully, Jesus. This Baron Corbin thing could go forever.
This thing you mentioned, the moving on to Seth, it's kind of like when Samoa Joe lost the U.S. title to Rey Mysterio.
And then all of a sudden he's the #1 contender for the World Championship.
Out of nowhere.
So I guess whenever you lose to Ricochet, you're in line for a title push.
Right, exactly. He's the good luck Chuck of WWE right now. If you lose to Ricochet, then there's bright things in your future.
They are holding off to sign Ospreay, I guess, so that they can just have that big Ricochet Ospreay main event at Mania or something.
Oh, God. I don't know. I would not want to see an Ospreay Ricochet main event at Mania. I'll see it at Mania. I don't think it'd be main event stuff. That's just
I'm just joking. But no, seriously, I think they are pushing Ricochet to the moon. They should, because he's got a lot. I mean, there's a lot that they can push.
He's a cool, flippy, a handsome dude. He has got a lot of the tools to be a really big star. And
Right, he does.
If he's given the right tools, I think he can go far. But yeah, okay, I think we're in agreement. Rico over AJ. It's the SD Jones tag titles. I mean the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, as Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the Planet's champions, defend against Heavy Machinery and Xavier Woods and Big E of the New Day. Man, like it's hard to say in so many words like how excited I am for the quality of the wrestling in a lot of these undercard matches. We said it about the Raw Tag titles, said it about the Cruiserweight Championship, Aleister Black, Cesaro, I should say, and Ricochet, AJ Styles. Like, this whole middle card is just bangers, left to right.
Right.
And I think we're going to see a lot of the same here with these three teams. I love what the New Day have done in their tag title matches. They have great chemistry with Daniel Bryan and Rowan, I've seen, and Heavy Machinery. Like, I was so kind of lukewarm to them on the main roster when they first showed up, and now I think time has passed where it's like we get to know them a little more. And
I was worried that they were going to get the AOP treatment. You know?
Yeah, kind of. Well, I'm more worried about them getting the Bushwhackers treatment than I am the AOP treatment.
I guess you're right.
They're already doing the walk and everything. But I think the triple threat, gave us a real good taste last week, or I should say this Tuesday, gave us a real good treat or a taste of what's to come with this matchup. Because they're all very athletic. Tucker and Otis, for as big as they are, they can do a lot of great things.
It was great to see Tucker get the win, too. I mean...
Otis is the one who got the win.
Or Otis, okay, sorry. But, I mean, and Daniel Bryan, I mean, I would have picked him to win that triple threat match out the gate. You know, he was world champion just a couple months ago. But no, I mean, that was kind of interesting to see that.
So, yeah, I mean, it's again, kind of a coin flip of who's going to win. I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd say Daniel and Rowan retain just because they're doing well so far as champions.
Right.
I think it's too soon for Heavy Machinery. I think it's been done to death with New Day. So I think right now, now the real trick is figuring out the next contenders for the tag titles. That's the only problem right now. Because, I mean, if Heavy Machinery were to win, then I could see some different branch outs. But like right now, if Daniel Bryan and Rowan win, then like who do you have left essentially?
Rusamora?
Yeah, bring back Nakamusa. Hell yeah.
Right.
But okay, so I'm saying Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to retain. What say you?
I think I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think it's too soon for Heavy Machinery.
Smackdown Women's Championship up next as Bayley defends against Nikki Cross and her friend Alexa Bliss.
It's a lot of back and forth, obviously soap opera-ish kind of stuff between the girls.
It is very
drama.
Very drama, very Mean Girls kind of thing where it's like week after week, Bayley and a host of other women are trying to convince Nikki Cross that, Alexa's bad for her, and Nikki keeps standing up for her. And we're seeing the same kind of like dialogue every week, and that's what's really dragging me down following this thing, is I feel they're just kind of like copying and pasting a lot of the dialogue from week to week, from episode to episode, because it's not just a SmackDown thing. They're putting all this coverage on Raw as well. So we're getting like double barrel of this high school drama stuff.
I think there's going to be some sort of a payoff, much like there was with Bliss and Jax. If that makes any sense, you know. I mean, obviously it's not the same Mean Girls type situation, you know, but I think Bliss gets put in these situations where she just, you know, looks like an asshole, and there's a huge payoff, at least in the end, with Alexa. Yeah. So I am looking forward to that Cross and Alexa match down the line at some point, to where, you know, Cross is going to get hers on her, and that's just what unless you're a flamingo and you have your head in the sand, you can tell that's where they're going, right?
What I'm curious about is like, I think eventually we'll see that Nikki Cross Alexa Bliss blow off.
Maybe SummerSlam or something.
My big conspiracy theory that it's going to be a double turn with Alexa and Bayley, I think, is not panning out the way I expected it would. But I think we'll see some kind of like conflict between Alexa and Nikki here, because they're both going to want to be the champions, even though they're going to be... I'm sure there's going to be some confusion, some malfunction at the junction. But I think one of the big question marks is I think they kind of teased that somebody could like come into Bayley's aid and come to her corner at the show. A lot of people are speculating this means like Sasha Banks is coming back. Do you think we will see a Sasha Banks return on Sunday?
You know what? It seems predictable as shit, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
That's why. It'll probably be like Raw the next night.
That's what they want you to think.
Right.
Who do you got winning this one?
Bayley still. I think she's going to retain. Just my opinion.
Yeah, it's like if Sasha Banks is a real thing, that I can imagine Bayley retaining. But this 2-on-1 odds thing, maybe a good way to advance the storyline is to have them be co-champions. So you know what? I say screw it. I say Alexa and Bayley are going. Alexa and Nikki, I should say, are going to win. New co-champions. It hasn't been done since, what was it, 99 with Jericho and Chyna? They had co-singles champions. They teased it a while ago with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as co-champions. that never happened. But I think we're going to get that this time.
I think the match we're eventually going to see, if it's a tag team match between these girls, honestly, I think it's going to be Cross and Bayley taking on Alexa and Sasha. That will be my...
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's also the possibility that if Sasha shows up, lots of contingencies here.
Right. I think they're going to bring her back and her and Bayley will clash. I don't think they're going to be attacked.
That could be a thing where they break them up and, Sasha could be like, why did you not stick up for me when I quit and took my ball and
right.
whatever?
Those real storylines.
Kofi Kingston defends the WWE Championship against Smojo on Sunday. This is a match where I think... A lot of people are talking about the big middle finger Kofi gave Joe last week. The controversy, as he said on the go-home week. But I think this is a match where it could definitely be a jumping off point to a rematch down the line at SummerSlam. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think this coffee house match is going to be great between Kofi and Joe.
And
no, I'm joking. You know what? I think it's going to be a good match. I still think it's weird. Smojo lost at the last event to his belt to somebody, and now all of a sudden he's a number one contender. But whatever. I guess you just got to choke somebody out backstage and you're good to go.
That's all it takes.
So, but I do think that Smojo has been long overdue in this title picture. In my opinion, this should have been something that happened even this time last year. So I'm glad that this is going on. I think that it's going to be good. But I also think that Kofi's going to win this one. Absolutely.
Okay. I am in agreement. I think Kofi is going to find some way to eke out a win. And it sucks because we see Samoa Joe in these situations all the time where he's in these big match situations and he's booked like a killer, doesn't win when it counts. We've seen this not just with him, but with a lot of other people as well.
And it's always against Lesnar.
So I agree. I think Kofi is going to retain somehow. And we will talk about, speaking of Lesnar, we'll talk about him in a minute. In a winners take all match, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch defend their respective championships against Lacey Evans and everyone's favorite heartthrob, the sex symbol of the 2010s, or I guess we're reaching the 2020s now, Baron Corbin. This match is this has to be the last time we see Baron Corbin in this position for a while, I feel. Oh,
man, if the rumors are true, you're going to hate life, but keep going.
I cannot see Corbin and Evans winning. It's just... I feel like I need to make a video about this in the future, about Baron Corbin as a heel, because either he's the worst heel ever or he's the greatest heel ever, and there's no in between with him right now. And there's a lot of different reasons why you could argue either direction. I don't know. There's a lot of problems with this whole matchup. First, the fact that people are kind of sick of Baron Corbin. Also, I feel that this relationship between Becky and Seth has been they wasted no time putting this thing into a storyline for television, and it's also these people have also wasted no time making it seem like the hokiest, most awkward couple.
They're just such a power couple, though. I mean, that's the thing.
It is, and that's fine. Mazel tov to them. Love is great, but I feared from the moment they made that a public acknowledgement thing. I feared that they were going to turn that into a storyline. And they sure enough have gone and done it. Because we've seen couples in wrestling before as part of storylines. Right. And it just never really works out. The only saving grace is the fact that compared to other times we've seen couples in storylines as of late, is that Becky Lynch is booked as a competent, tough as nails wrestler. Whereas you look at Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan, you look at Nikki Bella, John Cena, you look at Lana and Rusev.
Right.
All these are usually damsels in distress. They're made of cake, and as soon as they get touched, they just collapse. We've seen that happen before. So at least with Becky Lynch, she's got that edge of being a competently built wrestler. So they have that going for them. Who do you think's going to win this one?
I think the finish is literally going to be Becky having Corbin tap out. I believe that will be the finish, and
we are definitely going to see some intergender stuff in this. For sure.
Yeah, we are. I don't see Lacey and Seth doing an interaction, honestly. But here's the thing: they've made them look so weak. Or at least Lacey. I'm sorry, they've really made her look weak, in my opinion, as far as her losses on the pay-per-views. Yeah. And really just kind of walking out there and looking pretty or whatever, But I can't see there being any validity to them taking the championships off of those two and putting them on them, because that would definitely set up rematches. Then we'd be forced to another pay-per-view of these four. If
they win the belts, it's going to feel like such a half-hearted thing, because it is going to be some kind of wonky finish where somebody goes over dirty, or there's a miscommunication, or they knock heads or something. And that's what's going to cause the match to end. And it's going to feel like such a letdown, I feel. And I think right now the company is in a position where they cannot afford big letdowns. I agree that Seth and Becky will win. Not the exact outcome I think is going to happen, but I think we're in agreement that the power couple, love will conquer all. But here's the real thing. Here's the real question mark. Because this week on Raw, Paul Heyman said that Brock Lesnar will cash in on one of the champions. Do you think he's actually going to do it? And if so, who do you think it's going to be against?
Please tell me he is going to do like a 1230 F5 to Ricochet. Like,
so wait, he's doing the F5 while they're also flipping?
No. Like, he's going to just give an F5, which really is just the drop. But he's going to spin Ricochet so much, he's going to be like a helicopter and catch.
So wait, he's going to cash in on Ricochet? Is that what you're saying?
I'm joking. Dude, I'm totally joking. No, to be honest with you, I still think that there's no point in him cashing in on Kofi. Unless they're doing a big live SmackDown Live. Like, once SmackDown Live is moving to Fox, I think there's a possibility of that. But I still think Brock Lesnar's not cashing in now. I still think that's BS. He's going to hold it for quite a while because they see the value in Lesnar just holding on to that little case and, bopping around.
Boombox Brock.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
There's a part of me that thinks he's going to cash in on Kofi here. But, I mean, maybe they'll push it off to, like, somewhere down the line where it's like SmackDown gets closer to moving networks.
It's just, where do they go with that? Because Kofi would obviously want to get his revenge, and then they would eventually have to put him in a match with Lesnar where he's either going to be destroyed or Kofi's just going to hit a Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere and pin.
I think we're gonna tease a cash in where he's going to show up. Some chicanery happens, some kind of somebody slips on a banana peel, and we don't get the actual cash in.
Right.
But Lesnar is probably going to show up. Would be my bet.
Right, I would say he shows up too.
In what I'm guessing is your main event, because Shane McMahon rules over all the land.
Best in the world, baby.
It's going to be he and Drew McIntyre going against Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. They've brought up the history that Taker and Shane have had at WrestleMania, but not once have they mentioned that Taker actually more recently fought Roman Reigns and lost to him. I would have swore that they would have brought that up as some kind of like, let's drive a wedge of dissent. Let's try and question how well these two can operate as a team by talking about the fact that Roman beat Taker and made him do the whole putting the stuff on the ring and all that stuff. And like, that was a big moment. And like, I feel they've completely ignored that since Taker has now been kind of like re-summoned once again.
Is this horrible to say, but it's like, I almost have a feeling that Undertaker thought legitimately there in Orlando, that was it. I have a feeling that was it. And then all of a sudden, Saudi money.
Saudi Arabia kept calling.
Saudi money just showed up.
Hey, dude. Guys, we need to bring the Undertaker back. We got all this. We have all this money, but don't know how to spend it.
I mean, I'm not even joking at this point when I say that, like, legit. I still think there's a freaking hope in Saudi Arabia of a Sting Undertaker match. How crappy is that? I know that we don't want this probably because it's not good, but I still think that's the kind of stuff they're gonna pull out of their bag.
Taker coming back to me seems like a real emergency move where it's like we need to get fans interested, and like it's probably a combination of like. We need to drum up interest, so let's bring out the Undertaker. And also, I'm sure Taker's like, man, fuck that Goldberg match. I want to end this year on top. I want to end this year on a good match. So let me fight Shane McMahon again.
Well, the rumors, and that's what I was saying. If you're really pissed off about Corbin earlier, you're gonna be really upset now because apparently the rumor is that Undertaker will wrestle Corbin at SummerSlam. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but could be where they're going, dude.
I mean, the possibilities are really endless. Now they keep deciding to bring Undertaker back out and keep having to slough off his dust and like, okay, fine, let me wrestle one more time.
The only reason I said the Sting thing is because last week on WWE.com and on Twitter they released the video, the Reimagine thing. I think those Reimagine things will start getting those Saudi princes' minds spinning like, oh, we could do this.
Well, yeah, it's kind of how like one of the video games a couple years ago, like basically it brought about Goldberg's return versus Lesnar. So it's like I could see them doing that, like planting the seeds, but this match itself, I don't know. It's like I'm so done with Shane as the be-all end-all in the company as far as like the top heel. I'm really sick of seeing Roman have to sell for Shane and just like it's I don't know why they're fighting anymore. I just want this match to be over with. I want Roman and Taker just to grind Shane and Drew into a fine powder and just be done with it.
The only thing that could come of this, in my opinion, that might be somewhat good is if we see McIntyre Taker at some point. That's the only thing
I'd be down for that, I guess.
Well, right, it'd be something new, and he would be, able to work, obviously, So, I mean, I think that's the only thing that can literally come of this match that's anything good. Otherwise, the whole Shane and Roman thing and Undertaker out there with Roman and them not mentioning anything. I mean, I get it because it's like, it looked like he retired him, but...
Don't complicate things.
Right. You know, so I don't know. I don't even know who to pick as far as the winner on this, other than, are we going to see, like, Kevin Owens get involved and...
That's a possibility.
You know, like,
it's funny, this week alone set up the possibility for a whole bunch of things. We could see Kevin Owens get involved. We could see Cedric Alexander get involved. You know, but we saw on Monday.
I'm sure Shane's still pissed off that, you know, Kevin Owens...
hit him with a stunner and everything.
Well, no, I'm talking about. Let's go back even farther. He beat up his father, and then Sami Zayn pulled Owens off of a table, and Shane crashed through it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
It's like in a weird way, Shane and Kevin Owens seems like the most natural progression for a feud because like they do have the history, and so Kevin now being this new babyface who speaks the truth. So yeah, basically,
and eats fast food.
He eats fast food, right? Goes to the movies with his kid. He goes bowling. How can you not like this guy? But anyway, who do you think is going to win this match?
Undertaker?
Taker. I mean, like, I can't imagine Taker and Roman are going to lose this one. So I guess we're in agreement then that Taker and Roman will hopefully destroy Shane and Drew. Well, those are our picks for Extreme Rules 2019. What do you think is going to happen on the show? Let us know in the comments section. And we'll see you on the other side for my review of Extreme Rules to be coming out either Sunday night or sometime Monday morning. But until then, for J Biggs, I'm Brian Zane. We'll see you next time.